Before we start, I remind you that this is the Fundamentals 1 level class. And so in our Fundamentals class, we take a different topic each week and we explore that topic. And so the idea behind this is if you take a Fundamentals class once a week, by 6 months, you've covered all 24 topics. Doesn't mean you can't take other level classes at the same time, but it is kind of interesting to once in a while kind of dive into one topic and then bring that information to your regular practice. And today it is about the Bandhas. So is that a new word to anybody? Just lift your hands. Okay, good. So, and even if it's not a new word, it's one of these aspects of Ashtanga Yoga that is quite subtle. So even if it's not new to you, it's always interesting to revisit. I know in my own personal practice, it took me really years to understand what the bandhas were. So bandhas, it means lock. So these are internal locks, and we're using these internal locks to hold the energy and find the strength inside our body. So the first one is called Mula Bandha, which means root lock. And that's at the pelvic floor. So we're going to explore it, and it's between the two sitting bones, the pubic bone, and the tailbone. So this area there. And then the next one is called Uddiyana Bandha. It means flying up lock. And that is located right between the two front hip bones. There's also a Jalandhara Bandha, but we're not gonna discuss that. And so the purpose of these locks, as I said, is to keep the strength inside the body. And it's interesting because they're really at the center of the body. So when we move through the poses, we're trying to move from our center, right? We have those limbs that are hanging out there, and we tend to move by our hands, feet, and face, right? Because we have more sensory receptors in those areas. So actually we have a lot down there too, but they're kind of taboo, right? So we don't, we kind of cut it off, you know, we don't feel what's happening. So we're going to explore the bandhas lying down, sitting up, standing up, and going through the sun salutations and going through a few of these standing poses. Okay, so let's just start by sitting up tall, closing the eyes, tuning inwards. And if you already know Ujjayi breathing, trying to apply Ujjayi to breathe in and out through the nose, making that soft whispering sound with the breath. In Ashtanga Yoga, we have an opening mantra. And the general meaning of this mantra is about gratitude. So that every day when we practice, we also have a gratitude practice. So bringing the hands in front of the heart center, inwardly expressing gratitude towards anyone, anything you may take for granted. You can either repeat after me, the mantra is in Sanskrit, or you can remain silent. Vande Gurunam Charanadavinde, Vande Gurunam Charanadavinde, Sandarchita Swatma Sukhavabode, Sandarchita Swatma Sukhavabode, Nishreyase Jangalikaya Mane, Exhale, releasing the arms, opening the eyes. So we're going to start lying down. You're going to take your eye pillow, so I'll show you at first. You just lie down on the back, and we're looking for a samasthiti. So we're going to flex our feet and imagine that our feet are standing flat on the floor. We're looking at our kneecaps pointing straight up to the ceiling, and then we're lying down and we're going to put the eye pillow right between the two front hip bones. We want to have a natural curve in the lumbar spine, back of the head on the floor, palms can just face upwards, close to the body, and then you're going to stay there. So I'm going to describe, this is to get our Mula Bandha and our Uddiyana Bandha. It can be a little bit easier to feel when lying down on the floor. So I'm going to describe what I'm going to ask you to do. So you're going to exhale fully and feel like you're exhaling from the pelvic floor, lower belly, and squeezing the air out of the body from the bottom all the way up and out through the nose. And then you're going to inhale, and as you inhale from the top all the way into your eye pillow. So feel the belly moving with the breath for the moment. So if you've already heard about the bandhas, you'll recognize that usually we do the opposite. So exhale fully, squeeze from the pelvic floor, under your eye pillow, squeeze all the air out. Inhale from the top, feel the chest move, solar plexus, move under your eye pillow. And maybe you'll even feel the pelvic floor moving. So do a couple of breaths like this at your own breathing rhythm to notice more natural breathing. Okay, this is not what we're doing during the yoga practice, but this is more natural. If you have some awareness, you've been maybe practicing for a little bit, maybe you're even going to feel the pelvic floor moving with the breath. Okay, because natural breathing, we have our pelvic floor, we have our respiratory diaphragm, and those are both moving with the breath. I think you should have your feet on that. Okay, so continue like this, but we're going to add the bandhas. So when you exhale, squeeze the pelvic floor, squeeze the lower belly. When you inhale, you're going to try to inhale and not move underneath your eye pillow. So this will try to stay still. Okay, I'll repeat just to make sure it's clear. So you exhale, squeeze the pelvic floor, squeeze under the eye pillow, squeeze all the air out. You inhale, coming in, but under your eye pillow, try not to let those muscles move with the inhale. If you know Ujjayi, try to use that soft whispering sound, regulating the breath so that the inhales and the exhales are the same length. Next, you're going to take one hand and put it on the solar plexus, so this soft part right between the low front ribs. So it's higher than the eye pillow. So it's above the navel. So really right here. Okay, so we're going to try to add to this. Okay, and I recognize it's not the easiest practice to really keep going, but we're going to practice, and slowly, months, years, you'll be able to do this. So exhale, feel the pelvic floor, feel under the eye pillow, squeeze under the hands. See, turning inwards, see if you can manage this. So see if you can memorize this feeling. Pelvic floor toning in, under your eye pillow toning in, under the hand moving. And now add your low back ribs. So you can feel maybe your low back ribs touching the floor, or at least when you inhale, they go towards the floor. But still under the eye pillow, rest still. So under the hand, under the low back ribs is moving with the breath, but under the eye pillow is trying to stay still. Let's try a couple more breaths. And when you're ready, you're going to bend your knees towards you. And then roll to one side and coming up to sit. We're going to try this sitting. So it can be helpful to sit on that small block that you have, the short block. So you just bring that under the sitting bones so that your knees, ideally the knees are more comfortable if they're on the floor. If that doesn't happen, you could also try sitting with the feet under the knees to help steady the knees. Was there any questions about that? That kind of makes sense, even if it's, when I learned all this, I remember I did it every day for about a year before I was like, I think I have it. So just if you don't have it, don't worry about it. We slowly bring all the threads of the Ashtanga Yoga practice together. But now what we're going to do is we're going to take our fingers like this and bring our fingertips where the eye pillow was. And then close the eyes. Try to elongate the spine. And I'm going to talk it through the exact same way we did lying down. So exhale, feel the two sitting bones, the tailbone, the two pubic bones working towards each other, so you feel this toning in of the pelvic floor. And it's easier to feel at the end of an exhale. So if you exhale, squeeze that area, you'll notice that under the fingertips tones in. And then you're going to inhale, expand the chest, but try not to inhale into your fingertips. Okay, it requires some concentration, it requires some subtlety and some coordination, but we just keep trying. Exhale, feel the two sitting bones coming towards each other, tailbone, pubic bones coming towards each other. Inhale into the thoracic cage, into the ribs, and see if you can keep under the fingertips still. And you're going to continue at your own breathing rhythm. It does help to have the Ujjayi. The Ujjayi makes the breath come in a little slower, helps regulate the breathing. Just like what we did lying down, now we're going to add, because what can happen when we do this is that we'll hold everything in, and our whole abdominal area will just become really hard, and then we'll breathe only from the top part of the lungs, right? And then we get dizzy, we don't feel good when we're moving, right? Sitting here, it's not it's not so bad, but when practice to it, then we can't get air, and you'll notice that because you'll probably want to breathe through the mouth, right? You want to do like those gulps of air because you're not getting enough oxygen in the body, so automatically the nervous system makes you take those big gulps of air. Like when you run for the metro or something, we breathe through our mouth because it goes quicker into the lungs. We get oxygen quicker. So we don't want to do that in our yoga practice. So you're going to keep the fingertips below and then take one hand to those solar plex areas, right between the low front ribs. And so close the eyes again, tune inwards. And I find it useful to exhale at the beginning, squeeze the sitting bones, pubic bones, tailbone, squeeze under the fingertips, and you'll feel under your hand forming in. And then when you inhale, broaden through the upper chest, upper back, broaden under your hand, broaden the low back ribs. So continuing like that, exhale, squeeze the pelvic floor, squeeze under the fingertips. When you inhale, try to keep under the fingertips, still. Now you're going to take your hand that's on the ribs and you're going to place it on the low back ribs like this. So one hand is still staying where Uddiyana Bandha is, the other hand is on your low back ribs, and you're going to see if you can keep the lower muscles still, but feel like you're expanding, like you have these two nice big wings on your lower back, low back ribs actually. Try to make that soft sound, whispering with the breath. The more space you have between the pelvis and the ribs, the easier it is to make different movements in those two different areas. Okay, opening the eyes. So we're going to try to focus on that through the asana practice. You're going to bring your hands forward, stretching out the buttocks, stretching out the back. And then kind of pull with the hands, see if you can come up onto the hands and knees. Press into the hands, reach the sitting bones to the wall behind you, coming into this bent knee, downward facing dog. Press the 10 fingertips firmly into the floor, keeping the back long, like you're making space between each and every vertebrae, making space for the discs and the nerves. Looking forward, step one foot forward, other foot forward. Inhale, coming up onto the shins. Make sure you have straight legs, straight back. Come as high as you need to get a nice straight back. Exhale, soften the knees, fold them down. Turn the palms forward. Inhale, straightening the legs, nice long back as you rise up. Breath, or actually we're doing beginners, so we don't put the hands together. Exhale, release. Toes back together. And we're going to go through some modified modified sun salutation A's. So even if you're used to doing the regular sun salutation, it's interesting to do it like this, because then you're going to be able to focus more on your bandhas and your alignment. So sometimes it's really useful to slow things down. So reach your fingertips to the side, turn the baby fingers up, try to find neutral pelvis. So try not to be leaning forward. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, turn the palms, diving over the legs. You can bend the knees, relax the back of the neck. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, put both hands on the floor. Step one foot back, other foot back. We're going to pause here in a plank pose. Press the centers of the heels away. Wrap the two front hip bones. See if you can apply your bandhas. So exhale fully, squeeze the pelvic floor, squeeze under where your eye pillow was, and then inhale into the ribs and try to keep the pelvic floor, lower abs firm. Exhale, place the knees, pelvis, chest to the floor. Turn the 10 toes, press the 10 toes onto the floor, roll open the shoulders, and just lift the shoulders to about the level of the elbows. Lifting up here, press your 10 toes. Notice if you press the toes, it helps firm in the lower belly. So once again, exhale, squeeze the pelvic floor, squeeze where your eye pillow was. Inhale, try to breathe into the ribs. Exhale again. Try to keep that area firm, the center of the body. Turn the toes, press into the hands, and bring yourself back into a puppy pose. Pressing those 10 fingertips into the floor, so the forehead's actually off the floor, ears more or less between the upper arms. Now, bring your awareness to your sitting bones. Slide the two sitting bone skins towards each other. Slide the pubic bone towards the tailbone. Feeling the pelvic floor firming in, and then make a hollow right between the two front hip bones. So where your eye pillow was. It can be a little bit easier here because we are working against gravity, so it's more likely we can feel it. Skin of the neck rising up so there's no forehead. Press and exhale. At the end of the next exhale, lift the buttocks, lift the knees, and stepping back to the front. Inhale, straight legs, straight back, long neck. Exhale, soften over the legs. Inhale, first lift the face, lift the chest, all the way up to standing. Exhale, arms to the sides. Toes back together. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, turn the palms. Exhaling, lower belly pulling in, relax the neck. Inhale, slide the hands up the body, lower belly in, finding Uddiyana. Exhale, both hands on the floor, step one foot, step the other foot, pausing here in a plank, elbows straight but not locked, squeeze your fingertips, press the heels away. Looking down the body, see if you can find that you're nice and straight, like a samastiti. And then bring the ears in line with the shoulders. Okay, good. Now, leaning forward, knees, pelvis, chest to the floor. Turn the toes, press the 10 toes, roll open the shoulders, and then pay attention right between the two front hip bones. Try to squeeze that together. Upper inner thighs lifting up to the ceiling so the baby toes are pressing into the floor. Breathing here, seeing if you can keep Uddiyana Bandha. Turn the toes, press into the hands, pull and fingers elongate through the spine. Tuning into the breath, back of the neck long, almost like you have some little strings on the sides of the neck, lifting the skin up towards the ceiling. Finding the soft sound of the giant. At the end of the next exhale, lift the buttocks, lift the knees, looking forward, stepping one foot, stepping the other. Inhale, long back, lower belly in. Exhale, soften over the legs. Inhale, lead with the chest, all the way down. Exhale, arms down. Third line, moving a little more smoothly. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, find the bandhas here. Exhaling. We'll inhale, just one inhale in plank, and then exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, little upward dog. Exhale, puppy pose. Breathing here. Bring your mind back to the bandhas, using them as a point of concentration. Eventually, we have kind of an all-pointed concentration of Ashtanga. So we can feel every cell in our body. We notice the breathing, we notice the bandhas, we notice the alignment, finding the balance between softness and steadiness. Spread the fingers, back of the navel. Good. The end of the next exhalation, lift the buttocks, lift the knees. Looking forward, stepping one foot, stepping the other. Inhale, long back. Exhale, over the legs. Inhale, lead with the chest as we rise up. Exhale, arms down. Fourth one, inhaling, smooth breathing. Exhale, smooth movements. Inhaling, exhale, stepping back. We're inhaling, place here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, so either cobra or an upward dog. You listen to your body. Exhale. Let's just stay in puppy one more time. Tune into your own body, scanning, feeling the fingertips, feel the lengthening of the neck. Sitting bone skins coming towards each other, pubic bone, tailbone coming towards one another. But at the same time, elongating the crown away from the tailbone. So the idea is the crown goes in one direction, tail goes in the other direction, and so we want to make space. It helps our discs kind of replenish. We can kind of puff back up because, you know, with daily life, we're sitting a lot, we're putting a lot of pressure on them. And it makes space so that our nerves, there's space for the nerves. Lifting the buttocks, lifting the knees, stepping forward. Inhale, long back. Exhale, over the legs. Inhale, lead with the chest, long back as we rise up. Turn the palms and release. Last one. Inhaling, smooth breathing. Exhaling, smooth movements. Inhaling, finding the bandhas. Exhale, strong arms, strong body. Inhale in place. Exhale to our chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Look to the nose. Exhale, either puppy. And if you already know downward dog and you want to explore, you can lift your knees and find your version of downward facing. Still feel like there's little strings on the neck. It's so that we're not letting our head just completely hang. We want to tone the muscles of the neck. Very often, all day long, our head is kind of hanging, looking at a computer or a phone. So here we want to re-strengthen our necks. Press the fingertips. At the end of the exhalation, looking forward, stepping forward. Inhale, long back. Exhale, over legs. Inhale, strong legs as we rise up. And Samastiti. So now we're going to do Surya Namaskar B. We start with Utkatasana. And we're going to try to apply the Bandha. So you're going to lift all 10 toes from the floor. Bring your hands on the thighs. Bend your knees in the directions of the toes. So the knees are touching. And then take your hands over the thighs. Lift the skin up. And then get your hip bones, squeeze that together. So you can feel your center strengthening. And then you're going to take your hands on your low back ribs, like this area. And then you're going to lift the low back ribs up. So we get a little bit of a back bend. Broaden through the shoulders. Turn the palms. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, dive over the legs. You can put the ribs onto the thighs. Relax the toes. Relax the neck. Inhale, slide the hands up. Chest open, back long. Exhale, hands on the floor. Stepping the feet back. We're taking that extra inhale in the plank. And then we exhale to our chaturanga. Inhale, your version of upward dog. So if you need to stay down, you stay down. Turn the toes, downward facing. Lift the two heels high from the floor. You're going to bring your right knee close to the chest. Lean forward a little and bring the foot towards that thumb. Turn the back foot on the floor at an angle. And inhale, come up, and we're going to straighten our legs. Okay, so we're going to find the bandhas here. So usually when we're doing this, you see that the ribs and the pelvis are pointing to one side. We want to try to swivel so that they're both pointing forward. So change your feet. So look down, put your hands on your pelvis. This needs to point forward. And if it's not, then that means you probably need to open that front foot out a little bit or turn the back foot. So everybody look down. Okay, same this way. Everybody stay there. I'm going to help you. So shorten the stance. So I think, yeah, you need to have a shorter stance. Okay, so you really want to turn that way. And then bring your hands on your hips, fingertips into Uddiyana Bandha. So your foot needs to come all the way there. Yeah. And then bring around. Is that good for me? Okay, so you go in there and go. Okay, so turn this way and open your foot wider. Is there still pain in the back? Doing that. Is that better? That's Bandhas. So toss the buttocks, go down, low back ribs up. There shouldn't be pain in the back. So if you feel like there's pain somewhere, you always have to let your teacher know. Does anybody else have any pain in their back? The way to get rid of the pain is first you might need to open or shorten more, one or the other. So both hips forward. And then you have to take like L-shaped hands. Tops of the buttocks go down. And then low back ribs go up. Because very often the reason why we have the pain is we're kind of dumping the weight of our upper back into the lower back. Instead of using the inner muscles, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, but it's even deeper than that, but I'm not going too detailed today. And we're lifting up and away. Then look at your front knee, bend the knee in the direction of that second toe. So bring your hands on your low back ribs like this, and then breathe into that area. Like their wings kind of coming up and away. stepping back, pause here in a plank pose. Knees, pelvis, chest. Inhale, a little upward dog. Exhale, pulling sitting bones back. Lift the heels high from the floor, left foot forward, right foot on the floor at an angle, and we're going to start with straight legs. Okay, so let's find all this. Back heel into the floor, check knee to be squared. Okay, it's quite important. Once you bend the knee, maybe you don't need to be squared unless you have back issues. If you have back issues, you always want to stay square, even if the pose becomes really short. Okay, because if you have your pelvic bowl, your spine wants to grow evenly. If I'm doing a pose like this, and then I'm turning, I'm doing a twist in my L5-S1 area, and probably the thoracic area too. So this is a little more risky. Okay, so both legs straight. Take the thumbs, tops of the buttocks down. Front hip bones lifting up. Low back ribs rising up. And then keep them lifting. Bend that front knee towards the second toe. Feel that wrapping into the front body. The more we get strong in the center core, the easier it is to have a longer spine. Exhale, put the hands onto the floor, stepping back, pause in our plank. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, your choice, either puppy or downward facing dog. Staying here, breathing deeply. Tune into the breath. Notice right between the two front hip bones. See if you can make a hollow here. Okay, so good downward dogs. This way you can press the enemies. This you use more arms. At the end of the exhalation, looking forward, and then step one foot forward, step the other. Inhale, getting this long back. Exhale, soften over the legs. Keep the knees bent, lift your toes. Inhale, raise the arms, Uddiyana. Exhale, release. And we're going to do that again. Bend the knees, inhale, raise the arms, wrap the two front hip bones. Exhale, soften over the legs. Inhale, get a long back, long neck. Exhale, hands on the floor, stepping one foot, stepping the other. Pausing here in our plank. And all the way down for our chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the two heels high from the floor. Bring the right foot towards the thumb. Back foot on the floor at an angle. Make sure the feet are not crossing. Front knee over the heel. Coming up with the knee bend this time. Take your hands, tops of the buttocks go down. Low back ribs rising up. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, both hands back where they were on the floor. Stepping back. Inhale in place. Exhale for our chaturanga. Inhale, your version of upward dog. Exhale, downward facing. Lift the heels high from the floor. Left foot in the direction of the thumb. Back foot on the floor. Check front knee over the heel. Feet not crossing. Coming up, arms down. Tops of the buttocks down. Wrap the two front hip bones. Low back ribs rising up. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, both hands back to the floor. Stepping back. Pause. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing or puppy. Tune into your breathing. See if you can start to concentrate on counting your own breath. breaths. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Continuing at your own breathing rhythm. The end of the next exhalation, bend the knees, look forward, step one foot, step the other. Inhale, get a nice long spine. Exhale, over the legs. Bend the knees, lift the toes, Uddiyana, fierce pose. Exhale, release. Okay, we're going to do one more, try to move with the rhythm of the breath. Toes together, inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, over the legs. Inhale, long back. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale in place. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right foot forward. All the way up this time, Virabhadrasana, warrior. Exhale, all the way down. We're going to pause here in the plank. And exhale, all the way down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, left foot forward. Turn the back foot. All the way up to center. Exhale, all the way back down. Pause in our plank. And exhale to the floor. Inhale, upward dog, look down the nose. Exhale, either puppy or downward facing. Staying here, breathing deeply. It's normal, we kind of lose our breath, probably lost our bandhas, and it's normal. But then we bring our mind back to that area. Just like a meditation. If you do any meditation, when we're sitting still, our mind will go to our shopping list or problems we're having. And as soon as we notice, we just non-judgmentally bring ourselves back. And slowly, slowly, more and more able to concentrate. At the end of the next exhalation, bend the knees, looking forward. And we step one foot, step the other foot. Inhale, get a nice long back belly in. Exhale, soften over the legs. Lift the toes, Uddiyana, knees together. And Samastiti. Bend at the knees, step or hop the feet apart. Exhale, tilting forward. You can bend the knees and take the toes. Inhale, straighten the arms and stay there. So straight arms, straight back. Bend the knees as much as you need to straighten back. And with the arms straight, you kind of pull the toes towards you and feel like the chest is reaching away from the floor. And when you get that, maybe you're going to notice that right between those two front hip bones, this can suck in more. Then feel the sitting bone skins slightly towards each other. Pubic bone, tailbone slightly towards each other. Breathing smoothly and evenly. A little closer and release. Exhale, put the hands on the feet. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, step and hop the feet together. Bending the knees, we're going to step our right foot back. Turn the left toes in. Pivot the right foot out towards the back of the room. Open your arms, so palms upwards. And have a look at your feet. So your heels should be in the same line, the back foot at a little bit at an angle. Okay, straighten your front leg. Have a look at that front knee, make sure it's pointing towards the second toe. And then we're going to take both our hands on our hip bones, right, like this. And we're going to press the hip bones together, but without changing the skeleton. So first the leg is straight, and so you have neutral spine, neutral pelvis, and all you're doing is changing the muscles. Okay, so everything's neutral, but press that towards each other. Use your fingers and lift it up. Front leg straight. And then you're going to tilt over to the side. And that's the forehead. So you want to learn to strengthen that area. We're moving from the center of the body. You can open your heel up. Find your breathing. Inhale, coming back up. You're going to shift on the feet. So check that front knee is pointing to the second toes. Bring your hands on the two front hip bones. So you should have your foot pointing towards me now. One foot towards me. Lift the two front hip bones. Lower belly in. Tops of the buttocks down. Low back ribs up. Okay, so these are actions. We're not trying to do this. Often when people do that, they'll do stuff like that, right? It looks like really uncomfortable. So basically what we're doing is we're putting our skeleton in order and then turning on the flesh. Does that make sense? Yeah, easier said than done. And then tilt a little bit towards your front leg. Use your fingertips. Make sure those muscles, you're keeping them firm. That's okay. Doesn't matter. Something to do both sides. So pulling into those low abdominal muscles, trying to build strong legs. Inhale, coming back up. We're going to bring our feet parallel and maybe separate them a little longer, a little wider, and then point the right foot, bend the front knee to the right knee over the heel. Open the arms, both hands up, and then bend the front knee so it's directly over that front heel. And then you're going to shift over towards your right. Bring your right arm on the thigh, keep the left arm where it is. And then inside, see if you can feel the upper inner thighs sliding towards one another, coming to the center, coming to the core. Breathing smoothly and evenly. Press into the feet, inhaling, coming all the way back up, turning to the opposite side, bend that front knee, look and see if it's in the right place, lift the arms just like what we do when we lift from Samastitihi, exhale, shifting over to the side, left arm on the thigh, right arm will already be where it is. Press that arm into the thigh. Feel that left shoulder blade gluing onto the back. And then just with your mind, see if you can feel those two front hip bones sliding towards one another. Feel the back of the neck long. Breathing smoothly and evenly. Upper inner thighs coming towards each other, so even if we're flexible, you can do this. No, resist me, pull away from me. Pull, resist. Sorry. Bring the fingertips into Uddiyana Bandha here. So just like our first exercise, press into this area. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, tilting forward, putting the hands on the floor. You're letting your center weight drop. So push here more than here. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so walk the hands forward like we're doing a wide-legged downward facing dog. So you can come onto the fingertips too. If it's hard to reach the floor, just come up onto the fingertips. Something like this. If you're not sure, you can have a look at me. And with that length, see if you can once again feel that sucking in right between the two front hip bones. Tilting the pelvis, keeping the chest open. And you're welcome to bend the knees. Keep the pelvis in line with the heels. Exhale, put the hands on the hips. Press into the feet. Inhale all the way up. Exhale at the top. Inhale, separate the arms out to the sides. Exhale, put the hands back onto the hips. Inhale, chest open. Exhale, tilting forward, Prasarita Padottanasana B. So you can bend the knees. Just keep the fingertips where they are this time. And try to get a nice elongated spine. So we're letting the upper body has to follow the pelvis. So if the upper body follows the pelvis, then you're going to keep the spine growing evenly out of the pelvis. If we let the upper body just kind of collapse towards the floor, then we're putting a lot more pressure on our lower back. And especially if you don't have Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. And once we have managed to establish that core strength, then rounding our back isn't, our back should be able to round actually if we have a healthy spine. Press into the feet, inhale directly up, and then we can heel toe our feet together. Heel toe, heel toe, and coming to face the front of the room. We're going to do a balance pose. Okay, so with the balancing poses, we're going to lift all 10 toes from the floor. And you can have the feet apart, but if you have the feet apart, just still make sure you have the same alignment. Second toe, center of the knee, towards the hip joint. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make a lot of difference, but definitely you want to have the feet parallel. Lift all 10 toes. And then you're going to try to bring the big toe down and forward, little toes out and down, and then spread the other toes. Lean a little bit forward so you feel the skin of the heels coming off the floor, and then sit back and imagine you can feel the skin directly, evenly around the center of the heel. Press those 3 points, so the ball of the big toe, ball of the baby toe, center of the heel down, and see if you can lift your inner arches up. Okay, so there is a connection, Mula Bandha, ball of the big toe, inner arches, all the way up the inner lines of the legs, connecting to the pelvic floor, connecting to the psoas muscles, all the viscera inside, and it comes all the way to the tongue and the roof of the mouth, and the crown rises up. So we're rooted and growing at the same time. Okay, so shoulder blades on the back, soften the right knee, lift the right knee from the floor, interlace the fingers over the shin, and try to lift your leg up nice and tall. And now, imagine you're this pillar of strength from that left foot all the way through the crown. Engage your shoulder blades, bend the elbows so you can get your bicep muscles to engage. Tuning inwards. Feel those low back ribs rising up. Bring the sitting bones towards each other. And then you're going to put your left hand, fingertips into Uddiyana Bandha. Externally rotate your hip and open the knee to the side. Okay, so here's where it's even more important to feel those sitting bones sliding towards one another. Often we lift that sitting bone, we do something like that. Okay, but we want the sitting bones to be level. Low back ribs rising up towards the ceiling. Soften the jaw, soften the skin of the neck. Inhale back to the center, interlace the fingers under the thigh, pull our leg towards us, and then we work in the direction of straightening the knee. So it might straighten, it might not. You see what's happening. Both hands on the hips, and now straighten the knee, even if the leg goes down. And release. Second side. So finding that samasthiti, soften the left knee, pick up the knee, bring the hands over the shins, use your arms, bicep muscles, shoulder blade muscles, lifting the knee up high. Find that pillar of strength, center of the heel, all the way through the crown, like we're getting taller, right? It's always nice to be a little bit taller, I think. Right fingertips into Uddiyana Bandha, externally rotating that hip joint. As we open, feel that left sitting bone trying to stay connected to the right sitting bone. Feel that pelvic floor lift, right where your fingertips are, trying to still those muscles. And I find it helpful to actually squeeze my fingertips a little bit more. Helps me find that strength there. Inhale back to the center, bring the hands under the thigh, pull the thigh towards you, chest lifts, work in the direction of straightening the leg. So it doesn't matter if it doesn't straighten, just keep it bent, but keep pulling the leg towards you. Now let go and straighten the leg, no matter where it comes, even if it's 1 centimeter from the floor. See if you can feel your pelvis level with the floor. So some of you are a little bit like that. And release. Good job. You guys are strong. Coming to the front of the mat, toes together. Inhale, stretching the arms up. Exhale, diving over the legs. Inhale, long back, belly in. Exhale, stepping back. Inhale, work on our strength and plank. Exhale into our chaturanga. Inhale, your version of upward dog. Exhale, downward facing with bent knees. And you're going to bend your right knee, bring it in the direction of the arms, put the toes on the floor, bring the left knee, and put the toes on the floor, and come to sit. Okay, so coming into a cross-legged position you feel comfortable in. Bring the hands in front of you, walk the hands forward, press into the hands so you feel the sitting bones coming towards the floor. And it kind of gives us a little opportunity to work on our downward dog arms here. So you're pressing the floor, finding the neck elongated, ears between the upper arms, and tune into the breath. Walk the hands towards you. Then slide our hands behind us. Fingertips towards us. And we're going to do a little back bend to open the chest. You can keep the chin in. Gaze down the nose or close the eyes. to straight spine. So if you have trouble sitting up with the neutral pelvis, it's really much better to sit up on something. Okay, so you decide, you can put your little block, your flat block under your sitting bones. And you're going to take your base of your hand. So when I'm sitting, and my base of my hand on the top of the sacrum, I want to have like a neutral spine. So if I notice that my top of my hand is pushing back like that, then I need to bring this straight up. However, we could also overdo that movement, right? So this is what's so hard about yoga, because it's not this or that, it's a little bit of both. We're binding, right? We're yoking those two actions together. So if you're more forward, you have to feel the tops of the hip bones rising up. So you just have that neutral pelvis. Okay, and then from here, so we're going to work on our Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha again. From here, you're going to take the base of your hands on your low back ribs and make space. Because it is easier, because it's a little bit like doing this kind of thing, right? It's really kind of difficult to find. So if we have more space there, it's easier to do something different here from here. Okay, so up to you if you want to put your fingertips again, otherwise you're going to put your hands on your knees, close the eyes, and then bring your awareness to those two sitting bones. Sliding the two sitting bones towards one another. Feel the pubic bones and the tailbone. Sliding the pubic bones and the tailbones towards one another. So we could call those 4 points the 4 corners of Mula Bandha. Feel the two fronts of the pelvic calves, those two front hip bones. Slide those towards one another. Notice the thoracic cage, so all the ribs. Also the front soft part between the two front ribs. And see if you can breathe into the entire thoracic cage while also keeping Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha still. Use the Ujjayi to regulate the breath. Relax around the mouth. Relax the forehead. And then slowly taking your time, if you can, moving with the eyes closed, you're going to come to lie down for final relaxation, Shavasana. You can use your eye pillows if you wish to cover the eyes. And here, you want to completely let go. You can shake out the legs, shake out the pelvis. Take a few breaths out the mouth, just like we made effort. Use the muscles, use the fascia. Just imagining how you feel connected with the earth. Recognizing that we are one with this earth. Resting still and quiet. Slowly reawakening the body. Taking a couple of deep breaths. Stretching the arms, stretching the legs. Bringing the knees towards you. Roll to one side. Taking your time to eventually come up to a sitting position. Bring the hands in front of the heart center. We'll do the closing mantra. The general meaning of this mantra is about sending of yoga. So we're sharing them with the rest of the world, imagining that we're sending out peace to those we care about. And probably it's a good idea to send it towards anybody that we have some issues with. And sending it out to all beings everywhere. Swasti Prajabhya, Swasti Prajabhya, Paripalayantam, Paripalayantam, Nyayena Margena, Nyayena Margena, Mahim Mahisha, Mahim Mahisha, Go Brahmanebhya, Go Brahmanebhya, Shubhamastu Nityam, Shubhamastu Nityam, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. Thank you, everybody, for paying such good attention and taking care of yourselves. So if you have any questions